Welcome to LiveOps, the second stage of our demo. We're now looking at the supervisor and administrative screens. What we've got here on the home page is an activity summary, and just before we get into the detail, I think it's worth mentioning that the license fees to view this particular aspect of the application for all of your dashboards, activity summary reports, call flow authoring, user account management, etc. is all free of charge, so you don't pay for those additional licenses. Which is a real benefit for the contact center in general. Okay, so activity summary here, we can look at call volumes. So we can see that in the last 24 hours, we've had 21 calls into the contact center, 14% of those were abandoned, and a total of 20 minutes talk time. If we scroll down, you can get a graphical view here as well of those call volumes and abandons. Okay, clicking along, tabbing along to service levels. You can see that the average call queue time was 47 seconds. The maximum call in the queue was 7 minutes 41, and 57% of those calls in the queue were less than 20 seconds. And the average agent time has been 1 minute 13. Okay, so you get a nice little graphical view if you scroll down as well and look at those in more detail. If we go across to our campaigns, we've got a few different campaigns set up here. The platform sales team, David West, and our UK platform sales team campaign. So you can click on those to see how those teams are performing. Okay, so you can see that the UK platform sales team aren't doing a lot this morning. So basically what we've got now is a nice graphical spread of the activity for the contact centre. It's worth mentioning really in terms of campaigns, it's really just the destination point for inbound and outbound phone numbers to be received. So hence the UK sales team being set up as a campaign. If we tab along here to agents, you can see that in the last 24 hours, there's been 5 unique agents logged into the system. That's about 5% of your agent utilization, and total commits and commits on it have been 0. So not a lot of data to be seen there, but obviously in a real contact center environment, you'd be seeing a lot more. Okay, so that's just a look at the activity summary. If we go along here now to live dashboards, I'm going to show you how easy it is to configure these dashboards and rearrange the order of metrics to be able to give you a quick depiction of your performance and your KPIs. Okay, so the dashboard view I've selected here is the UK sales team, but there's a few other options that you could select if you wished. We've got 3 different teams set up: Edinburgh, London and Manchester. So if I wanted to look at some of these metrics, so agents ready inbound now, I can click on these various metrics and I'll get a more detailed view down the bottom here. Okay, there's not a lot of activity in terms of agents logged in, so I'm going to scroll on into the agents offline. And you can see here there's a number of agents there that are measured as being offline. Okay. Now you might find that these metrics are useful, but you want to rearrange them and view another dashboard, or some of your colleagues might want to see a different dashboard for their own internal purposes. So if we just click on this button and select the columns that we want, we can either remove average handle time for outbound, or we could take agents on a break and remove that. And I might scroll down to the bottom here and realize that actually I really want to look at how many calls have been handled today. Okay, and I want to know about agents talking now. I'm going to add that. So because I've just selected those, it might be that I need to drag those to the front of the columns so that I can actually look at that as my first option. So it's a priority metric that I need to view. So it's simple to just click and drag. Okay, so we're just going to click on that, drag it along. Agents and after call wrap up now. Okay, so just as easy it is to click and drag, you can click remove to delete that. Okay, so there's 69 metrics here. I think you'll find that that's more than enough, and would be very surprised if there was a metric that wasn't listed on this list that you would need to see. So we save that now. Okay, so now what you can see here, based on the reconfiguration, you've got a different view now. Agents on a break now, and again I can click through for more detail on that. Okay, Up the top here as well, you've got your dashboard for multi-channel, so you can see that there's one SMS in the queue, there's one email in the queue, there's no calls in the queue, there's no web chats, there's 2 tweets and a Facebook. You can see what's been sent today, what's been manually closed by an agent, and auto-closed by the application if you had any keywords or auto-response templates set up. Okay, and then you can look at the average wait time and how you're performing against your grade of service, and you can see here that there's one agent logged into the system. Okay, at the top here, this is your heartbeat. That's just showing you how many seconds the application is refreshing. Okay, so if we close out of the dashboard and we look at our dashboard configuration, I'm going to show you now how you can create different dimensions and views and thresholds. So these are really what make up your live dashboard. Just to describe dimensions, dimensions are a group of facts, which is really a specific contact center object that you could monitor using your own KPIs. So in our case, we're looking at a group of agents. So if we wanted to look at the UK platform sales team, you basically, this could also be a campaign, for example, or agent attributes or call attributes. So really what it's going to demonstrate is how you are performing against your threshold. So if you view a metric limit that's exceeding your thresholds, then you'll get a view of that. So views really are facts and KPIs that show these contact center objects. So if we go along here to these thresholds, you can see we've got a few set up here. So all views, it will show you the abandoned percentage today, and if we get to 27%, you're going to get a yellow marker. If it goes to 67%, it's going to mark up in red. Okay, if we wanted to edit that threshold, we might choose a different metric. Okay, we might want to look at agents talking now, and I might want to change the notification, so I could drag that down. Okay, and if I wanted to choose a different color, for example, I might think of red, and I'm going to have lime. You've also got an audio alert as well, so if we save those changes, okay, so it's telling you that one is already available for that particular metric. Okay, so you can go and delete these thresholds if you don't need to view them anymore. If we go back to the views, it's very easy to edit your views and create a different team, for example, or a call attribute, or an agent attribute if that's what you prefer. Okay, so it's very simple again. If you wanted to add a view, you could do that there as well. Okay, so you could create a new fact or a KPI that you wanted to measure. Okay, so if we just take you along now to our reports, okay, I'm going to show you a few different reports on the system. So basically I've got one open here that I'm just going to show you quickly. The call segment detail report's a really good report to look at. It gives you a lot of detail. You can look at call recordings and listen to those, screen recordings, which is also a fantastic feature of the system. And this will give you quite a detailed view of the contact center. So we were going to look at, for example, last week. Probably get a little bit more data out of that. You can see here on the left-hand column you've got rows with call recordings assigned to the individual call. You can see what was the campaign name, so in this instance the platform sales team, what type of call, so you've got your disposition codes here, what was the number that this call came into, the caller country code, which caller country, and a unique interaction ID, segment ID for the call. Start time, date, day of week, etc. All your standard metrics along here. If we scroll across, you get agent details, and then all of your metrics here, so time to answer, etc. Okay, if we scroll back along, what I'm going to show you here is this. If I scroll down and find one of our call recordings, if we look at this one here, we can click on this button. This is going to show you a nice screen recording, which is a really useful tool for training, for example. It's also good if your agents are, maybe guilty of going onto Facebook in their lunch break. You'll be able to look at that here as well. Okay. So you can see in this instance, this contact center agent was in Salesforce.com in Sales Cloud, and they've generated an outbound call from a customer record, John Jones, which has populated the LiveOps phone panel, and you can see there that Darren on the right is transferring a call to somebody else in the contact center. Okay, so that just gives you a view of that report. If we go back now, I'm just going to show you a couple of other little features. So the beauty of reports is that you can actually design these reports for whatever views and metrics you want to see. So if we wanted to look at one for last week, and I'm going to choose a different type of report. I'm going to look at an agent report. So if we look at an agent status report, okay, what we can do is it will bring up a number of default metrics that we feel are relevant to that type of report, but you can also go and select that if you want to, and you can delete information that you're not interested in viewing. Okay, if we look at another one, I'm going to do a call interaction. So we'll get a detailed report of call interactions here, and we'll choose, so you can see there that it defaults to a number of fields. So we might look at the case number, for example, if we had a CRM integration here, an order number, and we might want to look at languages as well. Okay, the other thing I can do, I'm going to say that I want to look at this for last week, and if I wanted to, I could look at a number of other categories and include call performance into this type. I want to include a survey. Okay, so I'm going to run that now. Okay, the other thing you could do is you could click restore defaults, and it will just take you back to the default fields that LiveOps have recommended for this type of report. Okay, so you can see here now it's given me that information about call interactions. Okay, so again, if I wanted to, I could look at the sales survey. Okay, that's been set up. That's one of the fields that I selected. So it's a really unique tool in that it gives you complete ownership of the reports that you see. You don't need to request a customized report if that's not what you're looking for. And just bring that back out again. And it's puts the complete control in the hands of yourself. Okay, so you can generate an Excel file or a CSV if you want to export that as well. Okay, so if we go back, the other thing you might want to do is you could go and actually schedule this to go out. So I'm going to enable this to go out daily at, say, 9 a.m. Okay, and I might have a number of different people that I want to email it to, so I can put all my recipients in, and they will get this generated automatically as an email. Okay, or you might want to specify a start and an end date and schedule that. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel that out now. So that gives you a really good example of the types of reports you can do. And if we just go and quickly look at this call visualizer, I'm going to click on this just to show you. This is really a graphical view of what's happened to a call. Okay, so in this case, the caller came in on arrival, it hit the queue, and you can see there the caller was talking for quite a period of time with the agent. Okay, and then it looks like this caller has actually been transferred to David West, to another agent. So you can see here that it's going to give you a segmented view of interaction. So you can see here that this caller has gone from one separate session into a session with another agent, David West, and then it will show you at what point David went into after call wrap up. So this would be quite useful if you had a dispute with a customer, for example, where they said I was on hold in your contact center for 10 minutes. Well, you can actually go and look here and say, well, you can see here that this customer was in the queue for 14 seconds. So, you can argue against that dispute. Okay, so that's your call visualizer. There's a lot of detail in the report. As we showed here, you've got a very flexible options in terms of what you see, but I think what we're trying to demonstrate here is just, there's a lot of data in the system, and whatever you want to see in whatever order, you have complete ownership here of designing your own reports and then also being able to schedule those reports. Okay, the beauty of the Engage interface as well is the multi-channel integration with voice. And if we just scroll along here, I want to show you a couple of the other reports that you can run. So here we've got a standard view of our performance by channel. Okay, so this is sort of looking at it in a dashboard view, looking at web chats. There were 2 web chats. 3 emails, 1 Facebook, 1 phone call, 3 SMS messages, and 8 tweets that have been processed. Okay, so if we look at, yes, this is looking at yesterday. Now what we can also do is actually run this report. Okay, and once again, you've got the option to export this to a CSV or a standard text file if you want to. So this is going to show you standard metrics again: average handle time, the maximum handle time, average wait time, maximum wait time, your average resolution time, and maximum resolution. Okay, we've got a number of different reports available, as I mentioned, so that's sort of looking at a performance by channel, but we've got a performance dashboard here as well if we just quickly look at that. I think, you know, the beauty of this is that you're not having to go to a number of siloed, disparate applications to look at data. You know, and all of your customers today are choosing multi-channel interactions. You know, whether a customer service centre likes it or not, this is how customers want to engage. So what you've got here, if we scroll down, is a performance dashboard. So it's going to show you how many messages were received, how many were queued, any bounce notifications. So for example, if you had emails bouncing, how many messages were automatically closed by the system. There looks like here there's been 18 messages manually closed, 15 of those messages were sent, and 15 sent by agents. So that's breaking it down in terms of what's been sent by the system as an automated response and what's been sent manually by an agent. Okay, so we can scroll here and again look at those metrics that have been highlighted. So we're performing at 50% of our average grade of service. Okay, the other thing you can do here, if I just want to go to one more feature to show you, there's another really useful tool, which is to look at peak concurrent logins. Okay, so given that our license model works on concurrent logins, you can just look here as well, and if we look at the month, for example, and we run the report, it's just going to show you in terms of daily activity what agents are logging in. So you can see there's fairly low numbers in terms of this contact center. Okay, so that's sort of giving you a view of the reporting tool. So you can look at detailed call information, define your own reporting data. You get the call visualizer, you get the desktop screen recordings and voice recordings as well. You can actually modify all your reports and schedule those to go out. And then again, as I've shown you here, the multi-channel reports. Okay, just while we're in the multi-channel, I just want to take you through to some other quite neat functions with regards to broadcasts. So broadcasts are a way of giving your customers information before they have to ask you for it. So being proactive, service updates, promotional offers, you know, it could be anything, emergency warnings. So this is a fantastic tool. It's very, very widely used amongst our customer base. Now, what you could do if you wanted to is you could either have a database already set up with your groups defined, or you could actually allow people to go into your website and opt in or opt out to receive information from you. So I'm going to give this a test. It defaults to date and time, but if we just call this a test broadcast, I could give it a description. I could select a standard communication type from here, or I could just choose default channels. So I'm going to choose email and SMS. These are the groups that we've got set up in our demo site, which you would have seen when I did the agent interface demonstration and engage. So if I wanted to choose all of these groups, I could select all of them, or I might just choose technical support, and I'm going to add that as an emergency notification. I could also look for a customer and actually tag them to this notification as well. Or it could be, for example, an internal executive board member that needed to have visibility of this broadcast going out. So if we click on that, it's very easy to upload a CSV file to be able to manage that data. The other thing you can do is you can actually import from a standard FTP server, or you might decide that you want to have integration to an external system. So now that we've done that, we can go through and define our channels. It's simply a wizard step, so you go through and you define all of your various points. Okay, so if I go back here, and I'm just going to take you in, show you a couple of examples of previous broadcasts that we've done. So here's one that Roger has done. So he's chosen the LiveOps sales team. Okay, if we go through and then you define your channels. Okay, it's a batch wizard, so it's very easy to follow the steps. So he's chosen a couple of templates here. Okay, SMS and email. So with SMS you get 160 characters. With email you can obviously include a lot more information, rich HTML files for example, click through, traceable links. You can provide opt-in and opt-out subscription links as well. Okay, then you go through and you can select how you want this to send. So do I want to send it now in real time, or do I want to schedule it for the future? Okay, so you can schedule this. The throttle rate here is how many messages are going to be sent per hour, which is actually really useful because if you're expecting a response, you don't want to be doing that in real time if you've got really peak call volumes in the contact center. So it's a great way for managing your efficiencies in terms of agent performance. Okay, and then finally you can click to preview that. Okay, and once it's been previewed and been sent, that will go out and it will be scheduled based on the dates that you've specified and the time. Okay, so that's just a simple way to send broadcasts, which is really neat. The other thing that we can look at is the ability to set up keywords. Now, keywords really enable you to provide prioritization of specific important messages because of their content. Or it could be that you want to be able to close messages automatically with a automated template response. So you could be searching for keywords and they could be the trigger for you to categorize a message in a certain way and select the appropriate template response to go back to the customer. So we've got a few examples here. Okay, so we've got a priority of 0 being the highest. Marco Polo, an example for one of our customers who have a sort of a premier club. So if the message contains that amongst any of these channels, we're going to put that into a sales category and we're going to send a standard sales auto response to that customer. And the output state of that message will be the skill assignment handler, which effectively means it will go to the skilled agent who has the skills assigned to them to process that message. Okay, so it's very easy to set these up. If we want to add a keyword, I can show you how we do that. So I could look at various match types. So I could say the message equals or contains. I'm going to put it at a priority of 1. And I'm going to select an auto response, our standard signature. So if it contains the word LiveOps, I'm going to give it a category of customer support. Okay, I'm going to check that across SMS, email, subject and body. You can also select a fuzzy match if you think there could be instances where spelling is slightly incorrect. Okay, and we're going to save that. Okay, so that's just a simple way to show you how you can create self-service options and prioritization for specific types of messages with words or key phrases. Okay, so I think it's really a good time to move on to a lot of the call flow authoring. So the beauty of the application really is how you can set this up to be a multi-tenanted environment. So in our case, if we were to click here and look at the client here is LiveOps, but if you had an outsourcer that had a number of different clients, then you could have the outsourcer name and then click through to the programs, and the programs could effectively be the customers underneath the outsourcer. In our case, we've got programs set up as help desk, loans, sales demo, and support. But you could even have those set up as your campaigns, depending on how you want to manage the system. Okay, so we've got the standard client being LiveOps sales demo. We've got our programs set up as our different categories and campaigns, and then we have all of these campaigns set up here. Okay, so there's a number of different options. I'm going to look at the UK platform sales team. You can see here there's 2 types of campaigns that you can have. You could have your standard campaigns, which are IVR based, or you could have call flow based campaigns. Okay, so the UK platform sales team, we've set it up as a call flow based campaign. The other thing we can do is we could have outbound campaigns with our push preview dialer. So if we were to look at that, the push preview dialer really is it pushes information to the agent to review about that customer, and then the agent can define whether or not they make the call to the customer or not. The other option we have is a progressive dialer. Now the progressive dialer is a little bit more instantaneous, and it's literally dialing the customer and the agent at the same time and connecting them, so it really gives the agent a couple of seconds. They don't really have the option to view a lot of information about that customer, and they also don't have any control over whether the call is made. Okay, so we can have a look at one of those if we want to view that program. This is the LiveOps outbound push preview dialing campaign. Okay, so you can see here it's just in the sales demo account, and you've got here all of the various links for that. So if we look at the UK platform sales team, just wait for that to load. Close out of some of these screens. Okay. So the other thing to mention is that in the coming months, I think in the next release, we're going to have a predictive dialer as well. So in terms of being able to manage sales campaigns and outbound activity, you'll have the option of 3 different types of dialers. So push preview, progressive, and predictive. Okay, so this is going to show you here one of the campaigns for the UK platform sales team. You can see here this is in the sales demo account, and we've got a number of call flows we could choose from if we had those set up. Okay, and it shows you there the number that is displayed to the customer when a call is made from this campaign. Okay, and we're got call recording switched on for all of these outbound calls. Okay, so that's just to give you a quick overview. Okay, so we've talked about the client, we've talked about the types of programs and the campaigns. Now I'm just going to take you into call flows and let you have a look at how that is set up. So the call flows really are determining what happens to a caller's interaction with the contact center at the minute they hit the queue. Okay, so we've got a few here that you can see have been checked out. Checked out literally means they can't be changed, so that's really important. So you don't want people going in and amending all of your call flows when you've set those. So if I scroll through, I'm going to find the UK sales demo. Let's have a look here. Okay, the main UK call flow for the UK. I've got the ability to view this, but I'm not able to do anything with it. So this will be managed by one of the super users of the system, in which case this will be John Charles. So once that loads, we're going to have a look here at what we've got set up for the UK. So it's a view-only mode in this case. So on arrival, the call will hit the contact center, and we're going to offer a menu. Okay, so basically the menu we've got here is press 1 for sales, 2 for service, and of course you can always hit 0 to go through to an advisor. So when it hits the queue, we're going to play phone rings, and then we've got an audio intro message, okay, and then 30 seconds for the queue music. Then we will also offer the estimated wait time, and we're going to loop this, okay, until the call hits an agent. When we're on the call, we're going to allow 60 seconds for the maximum time to ring an agent. Okay, if you wanted to have a speed dial transfer set up, you could, and we're going to transfer via the campaign set up for UK platform sales team. Okay, there could be a CLI displayed to the agents if you wanted to. Now, in the US, it's referred to as an ANI. And then if you wanted to screen pop any customer data to the agent, this is the field here that would actually pull that data in from an external source. And then we've got hold music available too. Now it's worth mentioning, if you've got any of your own audio files, it's easy for us to simply upload those for you. And then finally, post-call, really, how do you manage your wrap-up? So in this case, we are allowing the agents to wrap up at the end of the call with a target time of 10 seconds and a maximum time of 20 seconds. Okay, so if we look at call attributes, you could have a number of things set up here, whether it's a language, for example, if you're running a global contact center. Okay, Now I'm just going to show you how we could effectively create a call flow of our own. So if we go back here, I'm going to go back to the call flow options, and I'm just going to create one just to show you how simple it is to drag and drop. Okay, so if we create a new one, create your call flow. It's again, you know, this is really important if you've got advisors in a global contact center that want to create their own unique call flows that are specific to their territory. So I'll call this test Friday 15th. You could give it a description as well, just for internal purposes. Okay. So I'm going to show you now, you know, call actions. So what we've got here, we can select agents with pools. So when the call arrives, who do we want the call to go to? So it could be a skill group that is relative to a pool of agents. I'm going to play an audio when the call comes in. Okay. Now I could select from a number of files, and again, we could do these recordings for you, or we could actually upload any of your own. So I'm going to choose the agent menu, okay, and then I'm going to add another. So I'm going to select from agent hold, so an agent will be with you in a moment, okay, and then I might decide that I want to offer a post-call survey. So I'm going to do that, and I can select a survey, the sales survey, and I'm going to offer this to just a snapshot of my callers, 50%. Okay. Now what we can do is the call moves to the queue. What do we want to do? Do we want to offer the estimated wait time? Okay, so we put that in. I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to say that we've got an estimated wait time of 4 minutes. Okay, and then I decide that I might want to play a live announcement. Okay, and this could be something that you upload ad hoc, or you could have pre-recorded live announcements set up for you as well. Okay, and then finally, when we're on a call, what do we want to do? We might set the maximum time to ring the agent, could be 55 seconds. Do we have a campaign set up to transfer to? We don't in this case. We are going to select some hold music. Okay, so I'm going to search from some audio files again, and we can select hold music. Okay, so we'll use this one here, the agent hold, and select that. Okay, and then finally on our post call, we're going to allow agents to wrap up, and we'll set the target wrap up time of 15 seconds, and we'll do a maximum wrap up time of 30 seconds. Okay, you could enable auto wrap up if you wanted to, and we'll save that. Okay, so that's simply how easy it is to create a call flow. Okay, so I'm going to check that in, and I'm not going to check it out actually, because I think it's probably just going to create a number of messy call flows in the database if we were to save all of these. Okay, but I just wanted to really give you an example of how easy it is to set that up. So we've really now looked at a lot of the features of the supervisor section of the application. I think it's really useful to mention now. If we just go along here, if I was an agent and I was working from an office, but there was a bout of snow in the UK and I couldn't get into the office, it might be useful for me to be able to go into my account. We'll click here, and I would like to be able to point the calls rather than coming through the PBX to my DDI. I want to route those to come to my mobile phone number or my home phone so that I can actually log in from home and continue working as normal. So this is simply, you know, how an agent would do that. They click my account and go in and just change that number there. Okay. The other thing you can do if you're a supervisor is you can go in and edit users. So you could create a new user or edit your own user account. Okay, so if I go down here and if I look at my own account, you can see here, Siobhan Payet, it says I'm offline, so I'm going to have a look at that, edit my account. if I wanted to, I could change any of these numbers, okay, where the calls are pointing to, or where is my location base. This is a US demo site, so we've got it set up for the US. If we look at my account status, okay, you can see here that I'm belonging to the sales demo client. Okay, you could have another number of fields filled out for such dates as start date. Could have temporary passwords enabled. Do I want to have access to reports, or am I going to give this person's supervisor access? Okay, have they been trained? Yes, no. Okay, if we go across, do I want to record any of this agent's activity? So I showed you the screen recordings earlier, and I could also enable call recording. Okay, and then in terms of the routine, are there any specific attributes or skills-based routine rules that need to apply? And then this is just a standard super user function here, which would all be configured when we set the application up for you. And then finally, user preferences. So you can see there that I'm in the Europe, London time zone. Okay, if I wanted to add a user, I can do that. And you can have also different groups set up, so you could have your teams defined. Okay, so I'm going to add a new user to the platform. I'm not going to save this because you can see we've got a number of users in there. Just call it test user, and I could put their mobile phone or their landline, so it could be a home phone number. Okay, could put user test user. Okay, and then it was obviously going to bring up a chat name as well as the default value. Okay, and I'm going to enable this person on 100% call recording. Okay, save the changes there. So it's very easy to add a new user. I think we must define a password for this, but I'm not going to save this account. It's just really to demonstrate to you how easy it is to set that up. So now we come to the end of our demo, and I think you'll find from the demonstration this morning that this is a very intuitive application that's very easy to use, and it puts complete control into the hands of yourselves. So you're not having to contact LiveOps to request a new report or a new call flow, or to point overflow calls to a new pool of agents. We put the power in the hands of the user and enable you to be self-sufficient on the platform. So I hope you found that useful, and thank you for your time today.